an event that I think most of us were very surprised with, or a circumstance most of us were very surprised with, and obviously now percolating over, which is Joseph Parker testing positive for cocaine. Now, this is a subject you're well versed on, or were well versed on, in terms of testing positive for cocaine and the ramifications of it. You went through it back in 2018. There's no judgment in any of this conversation, Liam, because it's not my job to judge people. But how difficult was that ordeal for you? I mean, obviously, being a professional fighter and taking cocaine at the time are two things that don't necessarily correlate, so you must have been in a certain state of mind in your own life. But how difficult an ordeal was it for you once you tested positive and the ramifications started to become made for some of you to be aware of?
It were hard, it were really hard. I remember it, I were in bed, big letter, pages come through, and it weren't cocaine, it's this benzalocyanine. People are thinking that cocaine only stays in your system for 4 days and it's gone. It's not. It's in your system for months. This benzalocyanine is a drug what your liver creates to get rid of hardcore drugs, and this stays in your system for months. So
it could have been any form of drug then. Like, I know that cocaine is what it's obviously.
That's the worst case scenario, cocaine. So only what these have told me, I could have either have took it loads way before me testing, even at a competition or fight week. That's what options were.
But this is, I mean, I don't want to pry into your personal circumstances unless you want to answer it yourself. But taking cocaine is not an opportunity to enhance your boxing skills, is it?
No.
It's something else that's going on in your life that causes you to want to be involved in a situation where you're taking drugs. That's something different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's no material advantage to taking cocaine as a fighter, is there? This is something else that's happening in your life that was taking you from being a boxer, because ultimately being a boxer is your primary function, to being someone that's taking drugs. And I wanted to ask you, or taking drugs at that time, I wanted to ask you, Paul, about the issues of the consequences of it. You got a 4-year ban, didn't you, Liam?
Yeah.
And you got a 4-year ban because you didn't cough to it initially. And
lasted so 5 years because obviously they wanted me to admit it.
Just out of curiosity, why didn't you?
Because I didn't think I'd get banned. I didn't think I couldn't see the picture. I always, as a kid, dreamed I'm going to be this champion, and that just put a big works in the middle for me. So, like, I can't admit it. How's anyone going to come and support me?
You're probably right in thinking you weren't going to get banned, because not many people do nowadays, did he?
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to the question, Paul, because I know you'll be quite strong on this viewpoint, given your thoughts about what boxing should and shouldn't do, and the way that you think boxing should be constructed with your idea of a union and all this sort of stuff, and looking after fighters and the well-being of fighters and making the industry operate at high standards. Do you think fighters for recreational drugs should be facing bans and significant bans?
Not if it's out of competition, no. No, this is the thing. I'm against cocaine. I've never done it in my life. When I was fighting, I never took it.
But it's a lifestyle choice, isn't it?
Single recreational drug when I was fighting, or performance-enhancing drug. But if you're taking... There's a lot of fighters in the US now, MMA fighters, and MMA seem to be ahead of the curve on this. They don't test for cannabis no more. They use the healing benefits of cannabis and THC and CBD especially, but THC, the psychoactive part of it, which heals a lot of inflammation and everything else. So it's legalized over there. So fighters are using it while they're training to help them with the recovery. But in competition, when the test comes, if you've been taking cocaine, which I don't agree with, but fighters have done it. I've known fighters that have done it. It's one of them things. It's unfortunate it's happened. But if you're taking that after a fight and then a month or 2, 3 months later when you get back in camp, you're getting tested and then metabolites or whatever it is still in your system. I don't agree with that really, and then especially if you're getting a 4-year ban when someone is notedly, obviously taking steroids, they fail a test, but they're fighting again 6 months later. That's where it just doesn't sit right with me. It's got to be one rule for all, and recreationally, I can't tell a fighter what to do in the spare time. I don't think
recreational drug over a performance-enhancing drug, and then
that's what I mean.
Getting a 3 times stronger ban for a recreational drug as opposed to performance-enhancing. To me, the system is broken for that.
It's not performance-enhancing at all.
Why? So, okay, that looks like it's the optics of the ramifications of what it says to the image of the sport. Because obviously a PED, taking cocaine, in my view, will debilitate a fighter and create less of an opportunity to hurt his opponent, whereas taking a PED is the polar opposite of it. So why do you think that boxing gets up on its high horse about recreational drugs, which shouldn't be championed, but notwithstanding it, it's a lifestyle choice, it's not a performance-enhancing aspect to it. So why is boxing going hard and fast after that?
You bang on the money. They shouldn't be championed. I'm not championing them. But it happens. We're living in 2025, and you stand out now on a night out if you don't take cocaine half the time when I'm in clubs or pubs or bars, if I ever get out off the couch nowadays. And that's how it is, unfortunately. That's the culture of this generation. But it's not performance enhancing. When people are taking performance enhancing drugs, they're getting in a ring and they're going to end up killing someone. Absolutely. And they're walking away scot-free. That's where it doesn't sit right. I'm not championing drugs. And I think that's the thing. When boxers take drugs, you're a role model. And whether you like it or not, you've got kids looking up to you. So you should never sort of publicise that. But it's going to happen. And I'm not an advocate for it whatsoever. But if it happens and the fighter's not in camp, not in training, it shouldn't be any of the business of the testers, I think. I think what goes on behind closed doors when they're not fighting and they're not in training should stay that way.
I mean, the 4-year ban that you got, best part of 5 because of the period of time that evolved around it, could have been negated. I mean, we've seen Luke Traynor as an athlete get banned for 2 years because he admitted it. Do you expect, in your mind's eye, I know you won't be wishing this upon him, but do you expect Joseph Parker to get the same sort of ban that you got?
No, because I've had to go for years on telly watching these fighters what have tested positive for steroids. He's got 2-year ban, or he's got let off with Jared Miller had about 10 needles sticking out of his arm with that many different performance-enhancing drugs. Gets 6 months or something like that. I've had to watch all this, so I've become bulletproof. But I can honestly say, I'm glad I got my ban because it's made me the person I am.
Straightened you out, yeah. Let's move on to another subject matter, one that involves you in the conversation, Liam, obviously, which is Ben Whittaker, and Ben Whittaker returning to the ring on the weekend. When you look back on your dance partner, which was good for you in some respects, and slightly diminishing for him because most people would have picked him to do a job on you in the first fight and then they will say that he did it in the second fight. But when you look at the rematch, I mean, you would have gone in there, I spoke to you, you came on the show a couple of times, you were very articulate and very confident about your opportunity. Were you disappointed in the performance or the outcome? Well, obviously the outcome was bloody obvious you were disappointed in the outcome, but were you disappointed in your performance in the rematch?
Killed me, but what it is with me, you put a straight face on you say, like you said, am I going to win? And I said, I'll do my best. And after I went off, you said, you don't seem confident. I am. I have to say how I feel. And I was absolutely gutted, but I had to pretend I were all right.
What do you put the performance... I mean, was it Ben ascending to the level that we thought it was at, and that you got a bad Ben Whittaker in the first fight, and there's no credit there for you, right? Or was it just your second performance wasn't at the level that you anticipated it would have been?
Well, I watched Ben's 2 fights before me, the first fight, and he didn't perform, so I thought I had a big chance. Went in there, guns blazing. Second fight, personal issue happened, what I can't really speak about. Okay. But when it comes out one day in a book or something, I'll do it. But for now, I can't. I had that going off, and he was just better on the night, a lot better.
What do you think of his power? We've had this debate repeatedly and seemingly endlessly about Ben Whittaker for someone that's only had 6 to 8 fights or whatever he's had. And obviously Ben's made a name for himself and people are paying a lot of attention to him, and obviously winning a silver medal will get you that, but also because of the antics in the ring. But the big thing that constantly gets debated is whether he has the power, to deal with people later on in his career like Callum Smith, if Callum's still around when Ben Whittaker ascends to that level, or other fighters in that weight class. You've been in with him. The power.
It's very accurate.
Yeah.
And it's fast and his timing's good. So that weighs the power up. First fight, no power. Second fight, jab were like a right hand hitting you.
Right.
So it were weird. You see, but his timing and he were accurate. Even in first fight, were very accurate.
Do you think he has the toughness? Like, you know, you're talking about now, he's attributes, but do you think he has that mental toughness to be able to deal with it at another level?
But I'm going to give me praise. That fight was my turning point in that first fight. Yeah. I had to do everything. And from all trauma I've been through and stuff, I had to give it him that fight. So I were a man possessed that night.
I mean, obviously you had a win the other day against Troy Jones.
Yeah.
Where are you going next? What do you think is awaiting you in the future?
I phoned Lee. I've said make this Daniel Lappin fight.
Right.
6'6", southpaw, tricky.
Team
That excites me. I get to meet you.
Yeah,
Sick.
now.
To meet you, Sick.
I'm just rolling ball every time. I want to be in big fights. Don't matter who it is. Harder the better. And I want to test myself. I don't want easy fights.
Right. Good for you. Good for you. Ben Whittaker, if he was one of yours, Paul, I mean, we've seen him move to Matchroom. I don't know what the consensus of opinion is, if that's a good move for him or not. He's obviously got to go up levels now and start to illustrate that not only is there hype and style and charisma, but there's real substance. If he was under your guidance, Paul, what would you be doing with him?
I would personally like to see him do it the old school way. I'd like to see everyone do it the old school way and British, Commonwealth, European, whatever he can try and do. But there's good fights out there for him. I think the Dan Aziz fight's a really good fight. But again, whether he's up for that just yet or not, I think it's a really good fight. Obviously Craig Richards, but then Lyndon Arthur's now European champion. If you want to fast track him, Lyndon Arthur's a good fight to choose because Lyndon Arthur would be happy with the big payday.
Would you put Lyndon Arthur in?
Lyndon Arthur would be very confident of beating Ben Whittaker, by the way.
That's my point.
And I think if you're ready for that step up, go for that step up. If not, there's plenty of names there in the top 20 in Britain that he can mix it up with. But there's no point in really sort of sending him out worldwide yet. Just keep him domestic at the moment. As you said before, we spoke a lot about him for 8-9 fights. Yeah. It's because of the amateur experience and the amateur pedigree, and then the fight with Liam, obviously the first fight, why we speak so much.
And the showboating and all that.
And the showboating, and he brings it on, but he backs it up most of the time in the ring, and there's one time that he hasn't, and he corrected that in the rematch with Liam, and I thought he looked very well, as Liam's just said. But again, it's not that there's not much of a rush, but take your time with him. Let the hoorah, whatever you want to call it, build up behind him as well, and then you've got a better product then to sell in the future.
I think the hype around him, though, that's the thing, isn't it? Because there's that hype around him, he's going to get fast-tracked.
And he is good,
and he calls it himself as well. He's a very good fighter,
He's a good fighter. The one thing is always going to be there with him, and he proved that in the second fight. But in the first fight, I saw a few question marks from him because of how it ended, because of how he reacted and how he acted. But then you saw the relief after he beat Liam in the second fight. The relief was there. You saw the human side of him. He actually is normal.
Because he took a pile on, didn't he? In terms of people questioning him. And I also liked, with Ben, the attitude of, I didn't come here to win a silver medal. A lot of people criticised him for that, and winning a silver medal at Olympics is a fundamentally great thing to achieve, but it ain't a gold, which was his attitude. And a lot of people felt there was an arrogant attitude. I thought it was the mentality of a winner. Do you think, having been in with him twice, Liam, do you think that we are looking at a future world champion? Do you think he wins a world title?
Do you know what? Only person what's going to beat Ben is himself, because he's got the promotion, he's got the backing, he's got everything there on the platform for him. So I really hope he can come and become a world champion.
Has he got the ability?
Yeah, definitely.
Has he got the toughness?
I think we'll find out.
He can build on it, 100%.
So would you tip him? Don't be diplomatic and pleasant while you're sitting on this show, because we're not a pleasant crew, right?
Anyone can win a world title. It's just that he's got these monsters in the division, hasn't he? Maybe when they go, who's next in line? Maybe
well, I mean,
your brother or someone who could box him.
Yeah, I have to say I would always be a Callum Smith picker in that fight all day, every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Moving on to another fight which is coming up, and we had the two boys in the studio the other day. We've got a British heavyweight title fight on the weekend in Derby on the BBC, Ben Shalom's new gig. Frazer Clarke against Jeamie Tshikeva. But before we ruminate some more, let's hear from both the two fighters in the studio with me yesterday.
Let's see, if he talks a bit funny, he might have to get,
Frazer, you going to talk a bit funny?
I'm a bit nervous now. Jamie's saying he might put hands on me, so obviously I'm trembling now. But no, I'm just excited to be here. You prepare yourself for one date, and then you get some rubbish about some fake injury, and and then you have to reset. But
it was all going so nice.
Hey, Frazer,
I've got a good team, and we sorted that. It's no problem.
Frazer, no problem. But listen, don't crumble in person, because if you carry on talking, if you carry on talking funny, I'm gonna move to you right now.
Huh? For me?
But I'll move to you right now.
Pack it in,
I'll
Jamie.
move to,
Pack it in. It's just words. You'll deal with it Saturday, won't you?
Yeah, no problem. I will deal with you on Saturday, but don't talk funny. Don't talk funny.
This potentially could be a good fight. I mean, how do you see it playing out, Paul?
I said when it was first made on BBC and it was going to clash with the date, it's got the potential, I hope it's not, but it's got the potential to be a stinker.
It does.
But it also has the potential to be a good fight if they come out and meet heads on. So things like that, I'm actually happy seeing because I would like it to see it be a good fight. And I think, I'm not criticising Jeamie Tshikeva, I'm definitely not after seeing the threat he's just give there, but Frazer will be the one trying hard to press and attack in that fight. And I think I can just see them just meeting, break, meeting, break, meeting, break. I hope it's a good fight. It's got the potential to be a bad, but it's also got potential to be a really good fight, and I hope it is. It's a decent fight.
Well, it brought
it's a great belt as well, the British heavyweight
Absolutely.
title.
It brought out a reaction from both fighters, this sort of, I think there was a bit of confected outrage, which then began to turn into general irritation. And then it brought out the comment from Frazer, which was, I'm going to knock you out. You know, I'm going to knock you out. And obviously Jeamie Tshikeva said the same thing in response. What do you think of this fight, Liam?
Don't really know too much about this Jeamie Tshikeva guy, but Frazer's been there from amateurs and he's come back since that Saudi loss. I think Frazer's going to win, you know. He's destined to be a British champion, isn't he?
Do you know what? The mind games start from now, you know, in build-up to fights. And, you know, we're in this getting closer fight week and everything else. And if you're reading body language there, you go, that's getting to Jeamie Tshikeva because he's the one biting, he's the one angry. Frazer knows how to play the game.
Frazer was poking.
Frazer did well,
taking the piss. And
Absolutely.
You know, at the end of the interview, he said...
He's very much in his comfort zone. So you go, like, when you're reading into that, you go, right, Jeamie, you need to chill out a little bit here now.
I liked what he was saying, though, Spence. I
Huh?
liked what he was saying. What's the polite way to say I'm going to punch your head in? Because I want to. I want to punch your head in. I want you unconscious for 10 seconds only, but I'll just say it without getting the other fella's back up.
I know, but I think Jeamie was actually referring to some other observations rather than... I mean, also at the end of the interview, or end of the conversation, Frazer was picking the legs off a bug to some extent with Jeamie because he was saying, you know, I can leave the studio because we said, should we get people to separate you leaving, which is what Jim said to him. And he said, well, unlike other people, I'm emotionally mature, I can leave the studio without having to have a problem. And that's just provoking Jeamie, provoking Jeamie. What do you make, I mean, Frazer to me, everyone likes Frazer. Everyone likes him personally. Everyone wants him to be successful because we all like Big Fraze.
Yeah.
Some of the performances, up until, you know, the Bogdan-Din fight, the Marius Wack fight, the David Allen fight. I mean, David Allen goes back to that fight and said everyone he quit. These weren't great performances from Frazer. The best performance from Frazer for me was the first fight against Wardley. And I think most of us then took Frazer to win the rematch. Now, Frazer got caught by a big shot, and obviously all the concern turned into Frazer's well-being, and he had a moment of thought process about what he was going to do. When you look at this situation surrounding Frazer, where do you think he's going to go, boys? I mean, as much as we might like him, and much as we might want him to be successful, and we can put the fight down to Fabio as one big punch, do we see Frazer operating on the world level?
Well, it's a great question because you go back to that Marius Wack fight and you go, right, this guy here is made for you to look good, to show us, to go through the levels that you are at that level. He didn't. And so you go, is he going to be that guy that just can't transform into the professional ranks? And the first Fabio Wardley fight, he proved that he could.
Absolutely.
And he proved that he could go through those gears and he could prove that he could come through those moments. You go, look, the return that they had out in Saudi, you know, when he got his jaw smashed, that's heavyweight boxing. It happened. He got caught by a shot and unfortunately, you know, what happened. But he come back very well against Ebenezer Teti. So to answer your question, you go, I think he does have the ability to be able to maybe kick on.
Right.
But, you know, time will tell. I don't think this fight will tell us, by the way, because I think that Jeamie Tshikeva's style, that if it's not going his way, if he's not getting on top of Frazer, you know, he'll make it ugly because he's got the ability to be able to do that. So it's going to be difficult to judge Frazer if he comes through this fight against Jeamie on whether he can kick on to that next level. But I think this fight, you know, is a great opportunity for Jeamie Tshikeva to, you know, catapult himself and springboard himself into the picture.
Do you think, I mean, I don't suppose we will know until such a point, because of the manner of the knockout with Frazer against Fabio Wardley, I mean, I made the observation that Anthony Joshua would suffer from PTSD, and it proved to be the case coming back against Daniel Dubois when somebody actually landed on him. Do you think there's a jeopardy for Frazer that when it comes on top, when someone lands a big shot with him, that it will take him back to that moment where he got knocked out by Fabio?
Absolutely.
Is that still a battle he's going to have in his mind?
It's not the knockout that he's got to deal with, Simon. I think the fact that his face got smashed, you know, because that is, I don't care what any fighter says, you go, that has got to be in the back of your mind.
Well, I'm asking for the fighter's mindset,
that's
because
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know.
No, absolutely. The answer is absolutely, categorically yes. That must have to come into his mind. If that fight's getting hard and he's getting whacked on the chin and whatnot, psychologically, that's going to have to, the demons will have to creep in, surely.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
First time I got caught, dropped.
Yeah.
It felt heavy. It wasn't heavy when I watch it back. I took a knee. I got put to my knee. I stood up and I remember looking at Victor Lockham thinking, why is he spinning? Like, why is he moving? It was me moving. I was caught. After that, there was always that little worry. Is my chin still there? Is you worry when you get caught?
Yeah. Right.
And it was. The shot was perfect. I got hit well harder since and well harder before.
Yeah. Just a quick one. Who wins the fight?
Frazer.
I think Frazer.
Yeah, me too.